What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, this is TWA Motorsports, and today, yes, we are fixing a couple things on the daily driver Silverado. Now, so let me just get this out of the way. You guys are probably looking around the shop. You're like, wait a minute, where's the red step side? Well, we're still having some issues with it. I'll walk out here. It's actually outside. I moved it out. I've been moving some cars around, but I moved it out here, and yes, I did drive it, but we're having some issues with the tuning on this thing. And so, just like everything else on this truck has went, it's no different with the tuning. Generally, guys, like I told you in that last video on it, the guy who tuned my green truck and does a majority of my tuning as far as looking over the files and whatnot, Matt at GP Tuning, he sent me a file for that truck. I sent him what I scanned out of the truck, and I know this doesn't relate, but I'm just telling you guys what's going on. Anyway, I scanned what was in the truck, and it comes out to a 2000 truck. That's a 2001. The VINs don't match. So just like everything else on that truck, of course, the computer screwed up as well. So it's looking like I may have to do something different, but you guys will see that in an upcoming video. But as of right now, it's running. It's just not running well because it's on the old tune for the old cam. Anyway, that's what's going on with it. I just pulled it out because I wanted to move this in here to work on. Anyway, so what's going on with the daily driver? Well, this doesn't really affect its drivability, I guess you could say, but in the state of Missouri where I live, you do have to get inspections, and that's where I noticed one of these things. They kind of check like over your tires, your brakes, make sure there's no cracks in the windshield, make sure your headlights work, your horn works, taillights, turn signals, all that stuff. So anyway, I bought this thing. When I originally bought it, I go to get it inspected, and they asked me, to turn the lights on, whatnot. I turned the headlights on with the switch because it's in the middle of the day, and they wouldn't come on. And so that is actually still the case. What I ended up doing while I was there is I covered that little bulb in the dash that recognizes day and night, and then they come on. But as far as like turning them on, as you can see, there's no beeping or anything like that. This does not control when you push the dome override. See, it's not turning the inside lights off. So I'm pretty sure this switch is toast. And so today we're going to be replacing that. I did buy a new GM unit. Now, it could just be that it's unplugged. I honestly didn't even look at that. But I did buy a new GM piece. That's what this box is for. And then the other thing is the taillight harness. So when I bought the taillights and did the taillights, you guys saw that video, I noticed that like it didn't come with new wiring harnesses, which a lot of times if you buy the higher end bulbs, they don't come with the wiring harness. Well, one of these lights was broken. The other one had a crack in it. There was moisture in it. And just over time, what happens is this guy right here, you get water in these terminals and they kind of short out. So the taillight itself is working, but the very bottom light down here kind of randomly flickers. And I noticed it was really charred up when I replaced these taillights. So I'm pretty sure that we're in need of a new harness. And the guy I actually bought it from said he was thinking it needed a new harness because they kept blowing taillights. Now I haven't had that issue because I cleaned them all out, but still I wanted to get a new one. So we've got two replacement pieces, both GM parts. Guys, I love to use GM parts. Of course, I will link all this stuff in the description down below. When available, I just think they're top notch. Are there cheaper options? Absolutely. I will list both the left and the right side. I'm only replacing one side, but I will list both those in the description if you guys have this same issue. Or if you're going to that style taillight, like I did in this truck, you're gonna need those harnesses because the old harness actually only has 3 bulbs. The new harness has 4. I like those taillights. I don't like the bubbles, but they do look better. Anyway, today, that is what we are going to be doing on this thing. So let's, I guess we'll probably start on the inside. And I'll just set you guys up here alongside me, and we will pull this apart and kind of see what we've got going on. So another thing that I noticed driving this thing at night is none of this is backlit. So you know how you have your lighting, turn all this stuff off. You have your backlights like on your display. You can see they're lit up now. Of course, the radio and your HVAC controls. This has no backlighting. So which generally means it's either unplugged or not working. So we're gonna put it down in first gear and we're gonna pull this thing loose. And you want to be kind of careful not to hit. Sometimes you can break your hazard switch. I've never broken one, but I've heard of people doing that. So once we get that out of the way, we'll go ahead and put it back in gear. And we need to go grab, we might be able to do it by hand, but generally you grab a couple screwdrivers and pull down on these two little tabs, and this thing will slide out. But I think I'm gonna have to grab a screwdriver to get it out of there. Doesn't act like it's gonna come out easy for me. Sometimes you get lucky. Oh. There's not a whole lot to grab onto. All right, we're gonna go get either a couple plastic pry tools or a couple screwdrivers. If you guys are confused on where you need to put these, there's a couple tabs on the bottom that I was trying to release, and then there's one over here on the top. So if you look at your new part, that kind of helps you tell where certain things need to be. Did you hear that? There's a short in it. That's for sure. Oh, look at it. Can you see my lights flickering on the inside? All right, so all we need to do is unplug this guy. We're gonna plug the new one in. And looky there, let's see. We got lights. Let's try the dome override. So that's all it was. It was actually the switch. So it was plugged in. Look how nice that switch looks. It makes the rest of this stuff look really ratty. My headlights are coming on now. Awesome. So that's a pretty simple fix, although I need to do something there. I'm gonna wait for that, guys. Eventually we're gonna do fog lights, I think. So now we just need to put it back down in first gear. Let's see if we can get this thing back in. And just make sure everything's lined up before you go slamming it in. A lot of times these things bend or break over the years. It just doesn't line up the greatest on this side. All right. So the first problem solved. I wish that I could show you guys that all lit up at night. Maybe it's all lit up. Interesting. Cool. All right, one problem solved. Let's go to the back and see if we can get the taillight out. Now that we're able to turn the taillights on, I can show you guys the next issue that we're going to address, because normally, obviously my switch wasn't working, but you can see this light down here in the very bottom. This is not only like a light at night, so when you turn your lights on, this should come on, but it also alternates with your blinker back here. And so you notice that the one on this side isn't working. And like I said, sometimes it randomly works. The other thing I've noticed is my reverse light will randomly flicker as well. So like I said, it's a short in that actual harness, and you'll see when I pull it apart what I'm talking about. But let's go grab a Phillips, I believe, screwdriver and get these taillights out. Is that not the best looking backdrop? I love the look of that truck, guys. Sometimes I just stand out here and look at it. It's such a good looking truck. I've got a towel here to lay this on after we get it out. Obviously, because I don't want to scratch the light, the inside of the bed's pretty rough. So, I'm just going to swing these out of the way. Set our light here on our towel. And then I'm going to pull these bulbs out, and then I'm going to show you. Do you see how dark and corroded that is? Pull all these out. Still got grease on that one, so we're going to leave it here. I'm not even gonna have to put grease on them. They've already got enough. All right, so we're gonna poke this thing down through the bottom of the truck. There's a hole down here in the bottom. So now it's under the truck, and the next thing we'll do is we'll get under there and take a look at what we need to pull loose. So here's what we've got. Hopefully you guys got enough light to see, but you can see the harness that I poked through that hole right there. We're gonna drag that out, and then there's a couple clips that hold this thing in. And so I'm just gonna take a flat blade screwdriver and pop those clips loose. I'm pretty sure that the new harness comes with clips, but if not, we'll have them there. But we're gonna trace that wire over to this junction. You see this junction box right here? And I believe it's the top one. It is. So we're gonna unplug the very top one and get this old harness out of the way. Now you can see the new harness laid out beside the old harness, and there are difference, guys. This one is obviously shorter because it has less room to go. The one for the passenger side would be longer, but I want to show you this, how charred up this is. You see that? All that corrosion in there. And like I said, I cleaned it out because originally a couple of these weren't actually working. So all we need to do is, you can go a couple different ways. We can go back, thread this through the truck, which in my opinion is a little easier because we have to go up over the frame. But you can see it does have the factory clips, so you can either leave the clips that you took loose or you can use these new ones. But I'm just gonna thread it in here is the way I'm gonna start it, and then we'll go thread it across the frame and plug it back in. I used the new clip here, you can see it up there, and then I went ahead and plugged it in at the very top and used the old clip on this one just because it's not too easy to reach to get the new clip in. Either way, we're all hooked in. I plugged it in up top, so now let's go back out and put the new bulbs, well, I guess not new bulbs, but the old bulbs in, and see if we've got a new working harness. I guess we'll start with the bottom one. These LEDs are generally polarity specific, so what I like to do when I'm out here by myself is we'll plug them in, and I'll go turn them on. These don't matter. But generally I plug them in and then turn them on. That way I can tell, you know, whether it's working, and I can see them from the side here. So let's go see if they actually come on. Okay, so we've got this one, which is good. We've got this one. Let's try the turn signals. And that's right. Let's try the brake lights. That's working correctly. Now reverse. Perfect. So everything's working, and we can go ahead and put it back together. Almost like these plugs are a little different too. Get the screw started back in here, and we'll go test it again. Don't get these too tight, you'll snap them. Just plastic. You still see my tape line from when I buffed on this. Okay, let's step back and take a look if it works. Got all our lights. We got turn signals. Got brake lights. and looks like we got reverse from the reflection. So that was definitely the issue. At this point, guys, everything is finished. I know this is like a relatively short video. I actually was like kind of poking around to see if there was something else I could put in for you guys. That way it wasn't just these two little things, but I bought some LEDs. But when I bought this truck, it already had LEDs in the top. So these lights here and the ones back in the back. And then I added the ones in the doors when we did the door panels. So really, there's no other LEDs in this truck or ones I can replace. When they went to the newer style, they did away with the ones in the floor. So there's little pods there where they would normally be, but there's none there. There's not one in the glove box, and there's none in the mirrors. So sorry guys, I thought maybe when I bought all these LEDs that maybe I could stab them in, but you know, I'll use them on something else eventually. But either way, we've got the tail light working, the new harness. We got this new fancy looking switch in here, and you can see that it's all lit up now, and my dome override works now. Really nice. Be nice that I can go in and turn my lights on manually if I had to, and override. You know, I don't know how much I'll use that because I generally keep it on auto, but that dome override is kind of nice sometimes. If you open the door at night and you don't want a bunch of bugs to fly in, you can just tap that, and then you don't get a bunch of bugs in your truck, especially if you open the door with those bright LEDs. But either way, guys, we're this stuff like this is really easy for me to do. I know I talked to you about this in the video where I said I was a little overwhelmed with all the stuff in the garage, but little projects like this are kind of fun for me to come out here of an evening and knock out really quick for you. It was enough to make me start sweating. Of course, it's like 90 degrees out here. We've had a pretty good heat wave as of late, but either way, like I said, it's just easier than coming out here and blowing something all apart and trying to show you guys a big long video. Although I feel like here lately I've been cutting them up a little bit. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed that. I know some of them, especially on the red truck out there, have been really long. But I think I'm going to do more of that. Try to, you know, do little things, maybe one little video a week, and then one bigger process video, part of the process anyway. But I'm looking forward to tearing into the green truck. I actually haven't even started it yet because I really wanted the red truck out of my life before I started the green one. But either way, we're gonna get there. The Trans Am, I've got some more parts in for it, so I'm hoping to do something there. And you know, who knows, I really need to come out here and do some cleaning as well. But either way, guys, hopefully you are enjoying these videos. If you are, like always, please go up there and smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are not subscribed, please go up there or go down there, hit the subscribe button. Of course, ring the bell icon. That notifies you every single time we drop a new video. And stay tuned to see what we work on next.